Hi, I'm Michael,
And I'm Ariel.
and we're the Tysons. Welcome to our channel. Thanks so much for checking it out. In this video, we're going to be hearing the birth story of the crying baby. So, with that, Ariel, start us off. Tell us the story of how this amazing little human came into the earth.
His story starts quite a few weeks back. I always have prodromal labor, which is basically labor that will start for a few hours and then stop every night for a couple weeks.
All right, so I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but I know a lot of people are going to be saying, yeah, Braxton Hicks. So right. What's the difference?
The difference is I start having Braxton Hicks around like 20 to 22 weeks, and it's very, like you notice that you have it, but it's very light contractions. They're not strong at all. When prodromal labor starts, it's essentially the same as when my actual labor starts, not active labor, but when my labor starts at the beginning. So I can never tell the difference. So it's pretty frustrating for me, and I've had it for the last 4 babies. So I'm used to it, and I also don't take it seriously that labor is ever starting.
Yep.
So, and I've never had an early baby before, and so when my prodromal labor started, I just assumed we would be having that all the way up until the due date at least. And that is not what happened. So 2 nights before he was born, I had pretty extensive, serious prodromal labor. And then the next night, I had nothing. But then I went to bed that night, and it was like I was woken up with contractions very sporadically. And then the next morning, I was in bed kind of late.
So let's back up for a second. So I think that night, was that the night that you tried to wake me up because you thought that you might have been in labor?
Yeah.
But she couldn't wake me up.
No. But then
Thankfully,
I realized,
because she wasn't in labor.
But then I realized I wasn't. But it was right around 9 that my water broke while I was in bed. And I didn't know for sure if it was. I ran into the bathroom, and then I figured out that it was. And then, so my midwife, instead of me going to her for my appointment, she came to our house.
So, a little bit about that. She had a scheduled midwife appointment that day.
Yes.
So, they just continued with that. And then Ariel might get into this, but her water breaks, and for like 4 hours, she's still kind of questioning if she's in labor.
Yeah.
And the reason is...
Well, I was 4 days early, and I didn't have contractions starting right away. And so I'm like, what's going on? Why is it not starting? So that was crazy. But then when my midwife and her 2 apprentices came, they got our house like totally ready because we didn't have a lot of stuff still ready. Like they make the bed.
Just organized.
Yeah, they make the bed with like sheet, the plastic liner and like a shower curtain liner, and then sheets, and then another liner, and those kind of things I just didn't have done yet. I mean, we had all the things we needed, but just wasn't organized yet. Then you went out after the appointment.
Yep. So after the appointment, I decided it was time for me to do my job. And whenever Ariel goes into labor, my job is to be busy. It's to get stuff done. So I went to Costco, got some stuff. I mowed the yard.
Snacks. Costco snacks.
Got Ariel
I really wanted.
A bunch of snacks. Coconut water. Yeah, stuff like that. It doesn't matter when Ariel goes into labor. I always have something to do. So whether it's building something, mowing the yard, whatever. But I was out, worked most of the day. So after I kind of ran those errands, I went and worked on some church stuff and just kind of kept staying in contact with her, seeing how things were going, just kind of getting some preps going, and letting a few people at church know so they could kind of start being prepared for Sunday and stuff like that.
Yeah, because my contractions hadn't started at all.
Right.
And so I'm just sitting here waiting at home, which is so rare because every time my water's broken before, my contractions started within 30 minutes.
Yeah, so there was nothing for me to do to help her at that time anyway.
I actually worked too, which is funny because I woke up in the morning and I have an agent for my work with Instagram, and she emailed me and was like, hey, a brand is ready to go through right away. And I didn't want to do any sponsor posts once he was born. So I'm like, I got to create everything this day and get it posted, which is kind of ridiculous. But that's what I did during the day.
So,
yeah.
A few of you might be followers of Instagram, but Ariel got quite a few comments about a certain picture. And if I can figure out how to edit this in, I'll throw a picture of this picture in right here. And a bunch of people were like, oh, Mama, you dropped. Well.
Yeah, of course I had. My water had broken.
Yeah.
But I hadn't told anybody. Like, family didn't even know.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2:30 or so when you came back. So it had been like 3.5, 4 hours since my midwife had been here, maybe. And then nothing was still happening. But that's when you called. We have a friend from church that was on call to take the boys.
Yeah, that was like 3:30.
Yeah, I think that's when she got here. But I had never, when I've had home births, they've mostly all been through the night. So we've never done it with the kids here. So thankfully we had someone on call. But she came and took the boys, and then I finished working, and that's when you mowed.
Yeah.
And then it was like 5:15 or shortly before 5, and I ended up I had been taking blue and black cohosh and a herbal tincture that my midwife had to try to get the contractions going throughout the day, and they were not happening. So I finished my work, and I took castor oil. That's fine.
Well, a concoction that included castor oil.
Yes, it did. And then I took that at like 5, and at 5:15 is when like true labor started. Yes. So
let's talk about something else real quick, babe. What is my theory on why you didn't start having contractions until that time?
Oh, his theory is it's because I was working until right at 5 o'clock.
She had some contracts and stuff that were there. And so stress and pressure can just kind of build up and kind of slow things down until you get relaxed, which in her case, and then once that was all done and settled, like she was ready. And so labor started. Yeah,
I don't think it would have mattered what I tried to do to get labor started before that point. But yeah, at 5:15 is when it got going, and my midwife was like, okay, I'm gonna run home and grab dinner and I'll be right over. And then she got there at 6:30, and I was already at 7 centimeters, I think. Do you remember?
Yep.
Yeah, I was at 7, so it had only been like an hour and 15 minutes of actual labor. I had been at 3 centimeters right after my water broke earlier in the morning. So yeah, I was at 7.
Well, then she went into beast mode and just had labor. So she goes through some phases while she's in labor. She likes being in hot water. And
I usually like being in the shower by the time I'm at 7 centimeters. So that surprised me because I wasn't in the shower this time.
So during this time, I'm just filling up the birthing pool, but obviously we only have one hot water heater, or as most people would say, just a water heater, because it heats cold water. Anyway, she ran out of hot water because she was in the shower while I was filling it up. So then we started boiling water, and then
this is very old school. Yeah, I went from the hot shower to that. I tried to push him out in the birthing pool. I couldn't get in a good position in the pool, and so then I came out and was squatted by the bed. That was very fast after that. Like, he came out pretty quickly.
So what time was he born?
At 8:33 p.m. See, how do you know that?
Yeah.
8:33 p.m. And my midwife wrapped him up right away. You saw the gender,
Yeah.
but I did not, because I was squatting and she wrapped him up. And I just took one look at him and I did not have to look down there at all. Like, I saw his face and I was like, that is a boy. He looks just like our other boys. So, yeah.
He does. And maybe our girls one day will at birth too.
Yeah.
But Ariel was convinced just by the look of his face it was another boy.
Yeah.
And so if you don't know, if you're just now checking out our YouTube and you don't follow Ariel on Instagram, this is our 6th boy. Our oldest just turned 9.
Yeah.
Just last week.
Yeah, when
So,
he was
pretty
10
cool.
days old, he turned 9.
So, thanks so much for checking out this video. Again, be patient with us as we learn how to do all this new stuff, especially with me as I'm learning how to edit and all of that. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And if you wouldn't mind, just give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, maybe share one of the videos that's meant something to you with a friend of yours. We would really appreciate it. We hope you have a wonderful day.